Okay, I understand that I've been late to the Genshin Impact Needs More Late Game Content party, but I've seen numerous videos, articles, and such talking about it, and none of them, not a single one, provide any new ideas into the table. I mean, to be fair, they're all talking about is end game content, but we haven't gotten to Sneznaya or Kanria yet, so just calm down, you guys. So let's talk late game content. Genshin's late game is just the Spiral Abyss. That's it. That's all there is. However, considering that variety is the spice of life, I would like to see more additions to Genshin's late game to make things either more fun or more ruthless. Don't worry guys, I got this. I'm HermitGRAB, and these are my 3 pitches for Genshin's late game content. First off would be something that I call the Abyss Gauntlet. The Abyss Gauntlet consists of 8 rounds filled with enemies like the Spiral Abyss, and you would use only one team to beat the gauntlet, as well as 1 health bar. Now, that doesn't really sound that bad considering that the Spiral Abyss requires 2 teams, but for the Abyss Gauntlet, you won't have any blessings or buffs. Now, again, this doesn't sound that bad, but the real kicker is the requirement mechanic. The requirement mechanic comprises of requirements, a requirement score, and a cap. The requirements will have a score depending on their category, and the score will have a cap value of 5, which means the total value score coming from the requirements must equal to a score of 5 and not go over or under it. These requirements are separated into 3 categories: singles, doubles, and mono. Singles give a score of 1, doubles give a score of 2, and mono gives a score of 5. Singles will require 1 character in the team to have that characteristic. Doubles require 2 characters in the team to have that characteristic, and mono requires the entire team to have that characteristic. Say for example, you have 5 singles requirements. Remember, total value is 5. Then the requirements are must have 1 polearm character, must have 1 pyro character, must have 1 leeway character, must have 1 sword character, and must have 1 Mondstadt character. Which means if you use Xiangling, you already ticked off 3 out of the 5 requirements. Then you can use a character like Bennett or Jean to tick off the last 2. Then assemble the team however you like because you fulfilled all of the requirements. Let's have another example with 2 doubles requirements and 1 singles requirement. Then the requirements are must have 2 cryo characters, must have 2 characters from Mondstadt, and must have 1 Inazuma character. Then you can assemble the team with Eula, Rosaria, and whoever from Inazuma plus an extra, and you can go through the gauntlet. And now mono, which is the only requirement, remember total value is 5, then the requirement is only sword characters. Then build your team accordingly. The rewards will be 200 Primogems or more per round, which means in total you will be rewarded 1,600 Primogems, which is equivalent to 10 wishes. Again, this could be more, and it should be more. Of course, when the Abyss Gauntlet refreshes alongside the Spiral Abyss, it should have new requirement combinations to keep things interesting. The Abyss Gauntlet is meant to test the depth of the player, because remember, there are so many characters in Genshin Impact, and if you've played the game for a while now, you should have around 20 to 30 characters. Making a team out of those characters based on the requirements will be easy. The real question, however, is how good did you build those characters? Now the next pitch is something that I would like to call lore quests. Specifically, lore quests about the characters. Now this is going to be much different because it has prerequisites that need a lot of time to complete. The prerequisites are unlocking a character's hangout quest and getting all of the endings, and maxing out their friendship level to 10. Unfortunately, the only eligible characters for this will be characters that have hangout quests, so there are no 5-star characters. But that could put some pressure on Hoyoverse to make hangout quests for 5-star characters. Jean and Kuching would be a perfect start. So lore quests, what do they mean? Well, lore quests would feature additional lore and background to the characters and give them an additional dimension to their character and personality. Not only that, but we would accompany them again like hangout quests. but we would fight alongside them and travel all around the place while uncovering narratives about these characters and of course have cutscenes. These additional dimensions could provide new, exciting, and sometimes tragic sides to these characters. I would like to see these lore quests go on for a while, like maybe over an hour or heck 2 hours long, like really tell a story centered on that character. Let's say Diona. Why does she hate the alcohol industry so much? It cannot be just because alcohol bad, but maybe there's an underlying reason. Or Chongyun, do we actually get to see his family practicing exorcism and it eats him up that he hasn't exorcised one spirit? Or how about Beidou, do we actually get to witness her slaying the Leviathan without a vision? There could be lots of fun things that you can do with these lore quests, and you can get to witness stories that are central to these characters. Of course, these quests have voice acting, cutscenes, and a scene selection so that you can relive those scenes when you're finished. Also, 200 or more Primo Gems would be a pretty good reward. Maybe more. Maybe more. And finally, this pitch is something that I'm very surprised that Hoyoverse hasn't added, or we as a community did not think of, and I'm thinking of a boss rush. A boss rush would be perfect for Genshin Impact since it has so many bosses already. How this works will be basically the same as the Abyss Gauntlet, except for the requirements, comprising of 8 rounds and only bosses. However, you will be rewarded in halves, meaning if you complete rounds 1 to 4, you will receive 600 Primo Gems, then complete 5 to 8, and you will have another 600 Primo Gems, totaling to 1,200 Primo Gems. The team setup will be however you like, but after each round, you will have the opportunity to change your team. The catch, however, is that you can only change your team 3 times in 8 rounds. This is to allow players to scout the next boss and change up their team because of the boss's immunities like the Hypnostasis to a certain element, Thunder Manifestation to Electro, and Andreas to Cryo and Animo. The reason why I went for the 2 halves is because there is a theme for each half. Rounds 1 to 4 will be bosses that are pretty easy but have immunities, so that will trick the players into wasting one of their change team opportunities to an easy boss. Rounds 5 to 8 will be a bad time, because these are combo bosses. Let's say you're playing the boss rush. Round 1 is Cryo Regisvine, then round 2 is the Dendro Hypnostasis, then round 3 is Andreas, then round 4 is La Signora. Very simple, right? It's just one-on-ones. And then the second half comes in. Round 5 is Oceanid and Cryo Regisvine. Round 6 is Dendro Chicken and the Thunderbird. Round 7 is the Airworm and the Rock Snake. And round 8 is the Raiden Shogun and Child. Yeah, told you it was gonna be a bad time. Similar to the Abyss Gauntlet, the boss rush will refresh in a few days with a new bunch of bosses to keep things interesting. The key to beating this is not really the team comp, but where you save your change team opportunities for the second half. So, good luck then. And those are my 3 pitches for Genshin Impact's late game content. Which one is your favorite? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel with post notifications on. Thank you to GeoGod Zhongli for the support. Thank you very much for subscribing. I'm HermitGRAB, and I'll see you soon.